brute force. If it doesn't work, you're just not using enough. You're listening to SOFREP Radio. Special Operations Military News and straight talk with the guys in the community.
Hey, what's going on? This is Rad with another awesome episode of SOFREP Radio. But first, I want to welcome my new listener, new viewer. If you're new to us, welcome to the show. That's the fireplace. We got to keep that fireplace going, and you could do that by visiting sofrep.com/merch. That's right, we've got the new Deo Presso Liber shirt. That is our #1 selling shirt from SOFREP, which means free the oppressed. So, go get one of those, check it out, or any of the other cool merch that we have at sofrep.com. I also want to talk about the gym. And this episode is going to be talking about gym and working out. And this is no different. Using your brain is a muscle. We have a book club, and that is your gym. So go to sofrep.com/book-club. That's book-club, and just check out and see if the library has what you would like to read and get involved with the library that all the special operation guys and gals behind the scenes here at SOFREP are curating for you to read and enjoy. Again, use your brain. Knowledge is power. Now, we're going to talk to the founder of Boots to Health, Logan Spiewak. Welcome to the show, Logan.
All right, thank you for having me, young man. I appreciate it.
Yes, no, it's great. So, Logan comes from a Marine Corps background and has some really positive things going on, and we're going to just crack right into it. And so, Logan, welcome to the show, dude. I mean, you guys reached out and said, hey, I want to come talk about what I'm involved with Boots to Health, which is a total veterans, opportunity to reach out to you and get help working out and getting back in the gym and staying fit. As a lot of my listeners know, Logan, you might even know, I go boxing just about every single day, or swimming or snowboarding if the seasons are here. I'm always outside surrounding myself in that nature. Let's talk about that. What's going on, and welcome to the program.
Yeah, well, Brad, thanks for having me on. So I think before we obviously dive into Boots to Health, I think we should obviously talk about how we got here, right? Before the inception of joining the military as well. As many young men, I've made poor decisions in my life early on. I've been arrested numerous times and convicted of felonies. I was expelled from high school at finally one point for premeditated assault. So I really didn't have too many opportunities to go to school after that. You know what I'm saying? I had a probation officer and was kind of on house arrest for a while. I had to go to a youth aid panel, house arrest, probation, had to piss in a cup in front of my mother. And it was, looking back at it now, Brad, we can laugh, but not back then, right? It was a bad time.
No. And this is all in Philadelphia, right? Like Mechanicsville or Mechanics Place?
Yeah, this
PA?
Pennsylvania. I went down to Philadelphia quite a bit. There's a couple of guys I was hanging out with when I was younger. These guys were moving drugs and stuff like that. And I kind of got myself stuck in that environment because I thought it was cool when I was like 13 and 14. And it wasn't cool. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, with all that being said, I didn't really have too many options after that. Obviously, I had to go to an alternative school, and I remember, being patted down every day with a wand, like one of those wand detectors, metal detectors, because they didn't want these kids bringing knives and guns, because these kids I was around were hardcore felons, like they were doing bad stuff. And actually, to be honest with you, Rab, I made a lot of friends there. A lot of those people, I got along with, and I understood, their upcoming, where they came from, their family dynamics, and I just built a relationship at that school, and I'm very thankful for that, to be able to go there and meet a whole bunch of different people and understand people where they're at. But anyway, getting back to the point, after I did what I had to do, I finally went into the military. But that being said, it was difficult going into the military in the first place. I had what's called a pyeloplasty surgery. Are you familiar with what that is, Brian?
No, and tell me what that is, please.
So essentially, my kidney didn't function 100% when I was a newborn baby, so I had to have kidney surgery so my kidney would properly function. So with that being said, at such a young age, I had to get medical waivers before I even went into the military because of my kidney not functioning. That took me about 12 to 14 months to finally get medical waivers. I tried every branch of the military, to be honest with you, Rad, And
Were they giving you a hard time besides just your kidneys having issues from, waivers? Were they giving you a hard time about falling in the wrong crew, having this record that you kind of mentioned about these felonies where you were just getting, snapped up and you're going to an alternative school? I mean, when you go to the military, I was just talking to a Navy recruiter recently and asked him about someone who is a felon. I was like, hey, are you guys taking felons? He's like, well, what's the felony,
Well,
and
the
so,
good thing, yeah, well, good thing, Rad, is actually I got all my stuff expunged. Thank the Lord. So I don't have everything on my record anymore, and praise God for that. So, but yeah, I didn't have that obviously at the time, but everything got expunged because of good behavior, and thank you to the judge.
So you cleaned up your act because you knew you wanted to go in the Corps, right? You had to get it all squared away. You couldn't get in. You had to do whatever they demanded, whether that was a court, class or whatever. You had to go through that expungement process, right? And that's a time.
See, being in a courtroom so much is very interesting, right? Because there's a different dynamic in there, especially when you're in there with your mother. And I remember being in the courtroom, and my mother looked at me and told me how much of a disappointment I was to her. Yeah, that one hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that can, dude. I mean, and because mom tries to raise you not to do those things.
Right. It's not my mother's fault. It's my fault. I take account.
That's right. Good job.
So I'm not.
I love that. No, dude, let me tell you, I went to an alternative high school. I went to 4 years, and I went to 4 years of summer school, and I was a skater, and everybody always just thought we were bad kids. So it wasn't that we were bad kids or super bad. It's just that all our friends went to these alternative high schools. It was where they were at. Now they're all pro skateboarders, pro snowboarders, rock star musicians, hosts of, top government podcasts like SoftRep, right? So we all have a background, bro. It's like we've all come from struggles. I mean, and you got to remember, it's not the nicest guy on the Navy SEAL team that gets the job done. Somebody has to be that guy that stabs grandma in the neck and steals the car to get the mission complete. Okay? So you can't have all these American cowboys, just perfect Boy Scouts. Someone's got to have the tenacity to just be like, I got to do it. Okay? So anyways, here you are, cleaning yourself up, getting ready to go to the Marine Corps. And now what? Your kidneys are coming up with a waiver needed.
Right, so I finally got the waiver. Obviously, like I was saying before, I got denied by every branch. Was walking out of the recruiting station. Marine in his dress blues obviously walked down and said, "Hey kid, where you going?" And I just said, "Hey, look, man, I got denied. I've been doing this for months now. I'm just trying to get into the military." And he's like, "Not a problem, son." So at that point, I knew I was in good hands. That young man. He took care of me, got my medical work processed through, went to MEPS, and then I finally obviously went to Parris Island. My MOS was 0311, so I obviously went into infantry, and obviously my recruiter loved that. That was easy for him, so easy day.
Yeah, right. And MOS is military occupation specialty, so your job was infantry, which is, basically the fighting force of America.
Pretty much, yeah, that's what it is.
You know what I mean? And so, there's only so many Marines, like, 300,000 maybe rotating at a time. And so, that's awesome to go down that route. The Marine Corps Parris Island, isn't that more east side? So you're East Coast, right?
Yeah,
so you go to Paris?
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. I went down. I mean, everybody would tell you the sand fleas down there are the worst things in the world, man. I'll tell you, they just be eating you, and it's the worst thing. But honestly, I will get to that, right? But honestly, to be quite frank with you, I'm trying to jump ship a little bit, but I understand firsthand what PTSD does, especially to veterans, especially military members that are in the infantry units and battalions. So unfortunately, my leadership, the people in my leadership were capacity. Obviously, like you said, right, we're coming off a rotation from Afghanistan and Iraq, and they were suffering from post-traumatic stress, right? Because these people just got out of combat deployments, and they've seen some things, right? So that's going to cause trauma to the brain, and this is going to obviously alter that person's cognitive behavior, right? And obviously, they were untreated, and obviously, what would happen, Brad, is these people would become super aggressive, and they would take it out on other people, aka the new guys, and I was one of those new guys, right? And I will just say, the people that were in charge of me, the gentleman, I'm not going to say his name, but he would call me every day and tell me he was going to blow my effing brains out, like every day. Mm-hmm. So,
just because he's a crazy Marine?
Well, he unfortunately passed away from alcoholism. He drank himself to death. So.
Which seems to be a device that a lot of folks get involved with, to try to drown their sorrows from what they may have seen, because everybody's lane in the war is different and everybody saw something different than what their buddy saw, even if they were together, everybody's looking a different direction different times. So who knows what he sees versus what he sees, or she sees. And so, that's too bad and unfortunate that he passed away. But, we all come to an end at some point in this life. It's known.
Yeah. Yeah.
So-
Well, right. Well, I'm trying to tie that into everything that we're getting to, but I think it's just very important just to tell you guys that, just because I understand firsthand what it's like dealing with these kinds of people that have gone through trauma, through obviously the nonprofit that we started. So, right, obviously getting out of the military. The reason why I got out is because I broke 4 metatarsals in my midfoot, and they thought I was lying about that. So, that kind of made the environment a lot more toxic for me. So obviously, you know what I'm saying, Rad? So I think that.
Oh, I do know what you're saying. Like words like malingering come out, and like words like existed prior to enlistment comes out, and things like, oh, you might have had this and all these things. But like, as somebody who goes and gives themselves to the doctor to bend over and show their hole to the doc, and he says you're good to go, and you give yourself 100% healthy to the military. How many stories have I heard, whether you've been in for 3 days at boot camp or you've been in for 22 years and you come out broken? Okay, so injuries happen all the time. I knew a guy that was in basic, and he fell and broke his hand. They had to do complete reconstructive surgery on his hand, and there was no one in the bay to oversee him and watch him like a nurse. And we had to like tie his hand up to the bunk to make sure that it didn't, fill with fluids. And his surgery,
Right.
They just released him right back after. There's a lot that goes on that people don't see, and it gets swept under the rug with people who've had, they've raised their hand, they've given up their soul to the check of cash it if you need it, America, you know what I'm saying? Your whole life. So it's out there, and there's a lot of those, and us and those and yous and others who can probably relate with this story, who might just sit on it, in their own self.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think it's very important to bring all this stuff up because there's a lot of people that I've definitely worked with outside of the military that have these similar struggles. But like you said, Ryan, they're not, you're not told not to say anything, right? That's what they're told. They say, oh, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. Don't get help. And honestly, I think, since it is June, men's mental health awareness, I think it's very important for men to check themselves, right? Because suicide is definitely an issue. So.
Yes. And so tie this in with how you got out yourself by breaking, or, you had 4 fractures in your foot, probably caused, how long were you in already before that, reared its head up, and then it's just hard to take care of?
I was in there for 2.5 years at that point. So I was, already over halfway through my first term enlistment. So.
Right.
So, I mean, it's not like I couldn't do my job. You know what I'm saying? That wasn't the problem at that point. But yeah, and just after that, it made the environment just a bad place. So I'm not going to get into that. But, obviously getting out, obviously my discharge process wasn't the best, right? Like most people that I work with, they've had similar experiences, kind of no direction and what to do. So when I was discharged, I didn't, had no I had no guideline and no touchdown. Where am I going to go? Where am I going to run the ball?
Right.
To, right? So obviously I got out, started drinking again, started making bad decisions again, like all over, like you said. I made a U-turn in, and I came right out of the military, like you said, Rad. And I really fell into a bad place, Rad. I became very depressed, and I thought about killing myself every day for a long time because I had no hope, to be quite frank with you. And
Yeah.
One of the things that obviously helped me was going to the gym. That was kind of my escape. Some people it's drugs, some people it's alcohol. Mine was the gym, man. I love going to the gym. I love working out just to feel good again, right? Who doesn't love feeling good? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I'll tell you how this Boots to Hell got started, Rad. I was working out one day, and I met an older gentleman. And I thought nothing of him, Rad. I thought he was a poor old man. And, I thought he didn't have a wife, didn't have kids. And I thought nothing of him, right? That's ignorance, right? And I bought this man a pair of shoes. And they weren't cheap shoes, Rad. They were $200 Nikes. These were like the new Vapor Maxes that just came out. Like, I didn't even know this guy. Like, no joke, Rad. I didn't know this guy. I knew nothing about him. Bought these pair of shoes. And then it's funny, right? Because I would go back to the gym, and you would see this 80-year-old man wearing a pair of new Nikes, right? Like, that's just something you don't see before. So
Right.
you would just see that, and everybody would laugh. But anyway, as our relationship progressed, because I bought that man these shoes, I kind of was telling him, my personal struggles that we talked about briefly, Rad. And I was telling him, hey, look, this is what I struggled with. and I think we should do something to help the veteran population, because obviously there's definitely a need for this. And at that point on, Rad, I kind of took everything that he taught me and started this foundation. I opened up a private gym in central Pennsylvania and put together this holistic program to help veterans with their physical needs, their spiritual needs, and their nutritional needs. Our program again is 3 months long, and it's custom to any veteran that comes through the program, and it's completely cost free. Like, I've been doing this now for the past 4 or 5 years, and I've helped a lot of veterans. So it's just been a blessing in disguise. But I didn't know that at the time, Rad. It was just a lot of bad things at once. But now I'm happy that I'm able to take something that was such a negative thing and make it something positive and just give back. So.
Did you enjoy some of the time as your 0311, training and going to the range and
oh my
earning
gosh,
that?
yeah, I love
yeah,
that
right.
Stuff,
man.
Yeah, I love the guy. Like, honestly, it's crazy. Right?
I get that from you, though. I get that right now from you, and I just want you to know I feel your vibe, dude. I think it's great. So tell me,
dude. I mean, it's just like I get calls from my friends in my old unit, and some of the commanding officer and stuff like that. And they just tell me, it's good to see what you're doing, Logan, and all that good stuff in the community, and just keep doing what you're doing because you're changing a lot of people's lives. So I mean, that's. To me, that means a lot to me, right? Because you don't get that, especially from, I'm just saying, men in general don't usually do that, especially Marines, man. So
right.
That's a big compliment to me. So
there is this problem. My wife talks to me about it all the time because I have a guy friend group that gets together once every 20, 30 days, and we go and sit down and we just have this, hey, we're still friends, we're homies from junior high, and we still get together, and it takes one of us to keep it going. It's like, hey, are we going to Cotton Bottoms tonight? And they're like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm in town. Oh, I'm in town. Let's go tonight. And then we'll wind up getting together and having this healthy conversation for like 2 hours with each other. Men's health is, all health, mental health, but there is a lonely man syndrome out there. And you are taught as a Marine or as hardcore guys to hold it all within and just, you're tough, you can handle everything, but you might need somebody with a shoulder. So that you could lean on.
Well, Rad, like a lot of these guys, like from what even seeing and being out and doing this for so long now, a lot of these guys, like you said, they don't have a community. They become isolated, and I think that's honestly the worst thing for anybody to do, because you start falling into old habits again, and I think that's what really deters people from having a good life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I completely know. It's a healthy thing, and tonight is my healthy night to hang out with my boys. Tonight, the 4 of us are going to get together and just BS over, like, his wife's pregnant and he's 48. He's 48 years old, about to have another baby, and so just like these types of banter is just very healthy. I want to guess is it going to be a boy or girl? We're going to have we're just going to have like a sewing circle of our own. And I think I find that to be healthy, let alone, dude, like what you just said, going to the gym, right? That switch flipped on me about 2 years ago. I've got 400 days of boxing in the last 2 years under my belt, and I've got
that's great.
I got about 120 days of snowboarding in that same time frame. So in the last 2 years, I've got 520 days of straight up activity out of 700 and some odd days. So it's like, and there's swimming, and then there's walking with the family around the block. I mean, it's always some type of activity that we're doing. I'm just saying, going to the gym is just so productive. I find going to like a boxing gym where there's somebody who can help guide me through the exercises, a coach, with a group class where they're like, all right, lift your arms up like this, and you can say, oh, like this, and they're like, no, like that, and you're like doing it the right way, and then you have a tribe, a support group, a family, element that you may be looking for, just right there at the gym. Like you said, old man Witherspoon, wasn't his name Don? Is that his name? Was it Don?
Don, the old man.
Yeah, right? Don, right?
Yeah.
I read a little something about you, so I just want to make sure I understand that. So Don, he's like, what is this Velcro on these shoes, right? You're like, oh, these are the latest Nike.
Yeah, isn't that crazy though, Brad?
Yeah.
If you would have seen that dude, you would have laughed though, because you see this old guy with a pair of new Nikes on. Like, that's just something you don't see. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I have a whole collection of my Nikes right here from like Oregon State. They're the Kevin Durant's and whatnot. I can easily I'll show you. Hold on 1 second.
Oh yeah, those are nice. What do you play ball in those? Or you work out?
Yeah, those are nice, right? These are some nice Kevin Durant. These are issued to the back. So I wear a size 15, 16.
Oh wow, you got some big feet. You know what they say about big feet?
Yeah, 15, 16, bro. So you find me some nice Nikes, I'm interested. 15s. And I get them cheap because nobody really wears 15s or 16s. So.
Listen, if I find any, you send me your address, right? I got you.
Oh, yeah, right? Okay, that's great. I love eBay's authentication program where you can find the shoes. They have a little blue check mark like, you're a verified seller, authentic. And then it comes authentified and with a tag. And I like to smell it, make sure it's all legit. Hey, we all got our vices, okay? I like to smell my shoes when I get them, know.
How many pairs do you have, actually? You got a big collection?
Yeah, I've got some LeBrons. I've got, here, hold on one sec. All right, thanks for your patience, listener, viewer, but let's just show off a little bit of what is always behind me. Okay, so I have my LeBrons right here. These are the Soldiers, size 16. And what I love about these are the University of Oregon, the Ducks. And right here you have all of the redwood trees.
Yeah, those are nice.
These are way nice.
Those are way nice, yeah.
Oh, yeah, see, and I love them. I was working out in them at the gym doing push-ups and burpees. And on the other one, I ripped it right here because I was just doing too much toes. These are more basketball than boxing. And then I have one of my favorite pairs. These are the Nike Military. My mom gave these to me, and they're size 14 and they fit. So I can wear, between 14 to 16s. And she's no longer with me, but I wear these when I do my Forrest Gump. I'm a Forrest Gump reenactor. So when I run around, I wear these as my Nikes right here. And then these here are here's that little eBay tag. You see this right here?
I see that. That's authenticated.
Yeah, see, so I just leave it on and I just tuck it in when I wear it.
Do you squat? Those look like those are good squatting shoes, though, because of the soles.
Yeah. So I have not had a chance to wear these. They just remind me of Michael Jackson because of this whole white, I don't know.
Get the gloves out, man.
I have yet to wear, they say Zoom because Eugene, Oregon is Tracktown, USA, and it's all about running. And so you got the O right here. So my daughter speaks Mandarin, and she's becoming, that kind of a college kid about Chinese, and so she goes there. And so I've just become a huge Ducks fan.
Yo, those are nice too. You got a nice sneaker collection, right? Maybe you should buy me a pair, man.
I'm telling you, and then I love my jungle boots as well, and I just like them all right here. My snowboard boots, and well, we won't talk about my Yeezys. Those are I bought those before he was gross.
You got Yeezys now? Man.
Yeah, no, I do. I'm not going to show him. He doesn't deserve that, but they glow in the dark.
Oh, they're the glow in the dark ones.
Yeah, they are. I bought them about 5 years ago. I also got Justin Bieber's Crocs. I like the Drew Collection Crocs. They're size 14, 15s. They're purple with all of his logos on them. It's a pretty, oh yeah, you want to see it? You want to see it?
Huh?
Let
me see the Crocs, not the Yeezys though. Kanye is crazy now. Oh yeah, those are nice. What is that? Those are just his logos?
Hold on. Say it again.
What is on that? Those are his logos?
So you got Justin Bieber on a skateboard. That's his character.
Okay, that's JB.
So that's him on a skateboard. And then you got his Drew Bear. And then you've got his Drew Coyote, and then his Drew Bugs Bunny, because his middle name is Drew, Justin Drew Bieber. So it's called the Drew Collection, and his bunny's all got red eyes because he's all hey.
Because he's high.
Yeah, right, exactly, right? So it's it's the Justin Bieber collection. This is my second set. I didn't know this was going to turn into a rad shoe collection. But
How much do those go for, Rad?
I think the Biebers are 150 to 300 online if you can find them. I found them at deals though. You have to understand I have big feet, and so the average size of those Nikes that I showed you, my favorite Kevin Durant ones are these.
What are those?
Right here.
Are those the sevens?
So I love the vibrant color of these right here. Those are my favorite ones.
Are those the KD7s, Rad?
Maybe.
I think they're the sevens.
And so what it is they're all issued, right, of course, to the players. And sometimes they have numbers like number 15. Oh, this one's player number 1. So whoever was wearing number 1 during this series of color, but this is a $2,000 pair. And I got them for 81 bucks on auction on eBay. And it was just like, yeah, it was just like the best deal ever. And that's really what spurred me to keep just getting these shoes. Because I would just say, hey, what other size 15s do they have under Oregon colors? And man, eBay's got it all there. So I'm just like,
dude, for 81 bucks though, you can't beat
81 bucks, dude. Look at that, $81, okay? And it's popping, it's yellow. I wear them.
I can tell you definitely beating them up a little bit.
Yeah, right here a little bit, but I wear them. I wore them all over the University of Oregon. Everybody's just like, nice shoes. I'm like, yeah, I know.
We derailed quickly, man. I'm telling you.
No, it's okay. It's okay. We're just real, bro. It's boots to health, and it doesn't get any more boot than my trainers that I wear at the gym. Okay, these are what I'm wearing. My coach says, "Do you even feel the ground in these when I'm like doing like power burpees and jumps and whatnot?" And I'm like, not really. So honestly, there's something to be said about a good shoe in the gym, helping me do my squats, bro. When I'm doing so many squats, like, 150 squats in 8 minutes or whatever, it's like, bro, there's nothing like a nice pair of shoes.
No, I agree. You have to have a nice pair of shoes when you work out. That's a must.
And that's totally just segues into the boots to health mentality, and I'm sure that there's people out there who are going to be like, wow, did we just have a Nike drop on the show with Rad and, and Logan? Yeah, you did. That just happened, right?
Tell them I want to see my split, though.
Oh, geez, bro. Well, you got to think Nike is in Eugene, Oregon. Nike is headquartered, world headquarters there. And they gave that school $500 million to build its stadiums. That's just state of the art.
So if you're an athlete,
dude, $500 million endowment from Nike, from Phil Knight, because, he is Tracktown USA man. He's the guy. And the crazy part is Disney coordinated with the University of Oregon to create the duck. So they had this like bastard version of Donald Duck called Puddles, and he's a sailor. He's got a hat. Yeah. He just looks disgruntled though. He doesn't dance, he doesn't flip or nothing at the games. He's just like, he just walks around like a duck, And I love ducks, so it's a good world for us to be in, and hopefully my listener and my viewer is just like having a good vibe about this, because this is healthy conversation between two grown men who've never met each other than this show. Like, we're really just like, hey, we can. Logan's very vulnerable just to start talking about, I came from this background. My childhood was rough, hanging out with these dudes when I was 10 and they were 10 years older. Okay, going into Philly, city of brotherly love, and all I know, all I know about Philly and the city of brotherly love is the 90s and Kids, the movie Kids, where they were skating and they were just like, it was always skating and we were skating and we were like, yeah, Kids, and they're like, yeah, Philly. What's up, watch me take a 40 out of the store, It's like, I don't know if you've seen that movie, but you should check out Kids, bro. You'd probably be like, oh, bro, this is the Love Skate Park, Love, Love.
Is that the one dude in the one scene he's talking about having sex with a condom on, with the girls in the room? Is that the movie?
Yeah, and he's infected. Yeah, no spoilers,
she's a virgin. And
right.
I did see this movie. Yeah.
It's pretty real, right? They hit a real vibe in that movie of like, safe sex, right. Ejaculate responsibly as a young man, really it's skateboarding.
Dude, that's such a good movie though, actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, it's called Kids, right? And it's from the 90s. Some of you might have seen it already, and if you haven't, go check out Kids and see. If you're a skater from the 90s and now you're in your 30s, 40s, you'd probably relate, or you've probably seen that movie.
Yeah, that's an instant classic right there, Brad.
Have you even hit 30?
No.
Can I just call you Disney Channel? Oh, dude, how old are you?
I'm 26, Brad.
26. Holy cow. Man, are you not doing movies and television or nothing? You don't have an agent putting you out there? It's just you hustle. Oh, no, I guess Carl's doing it, huh?
Carl's hustling for me.
What's up, Carl? Thanks for sending Logan our way, dude. It's been a great chat so far, Just want to give you a shout out. Carl is
Shout out Carl.
Unless you're Carl, then good one on me, Logan. Good one.
No, Carl Knapp. Shout out Carl Knapp.
Yeah, Carl Knapp. He's your publicist, and you're putting you out there, and I hope that there's other things you can spread your message to, you know. And so when I was looking over your information, it's talking about how, you know, Boots to Health is just really free for veterans to reach out to you for free. Is this free?
Yeah, this program is completely cost free, and you probably wonder, well, Logan, how is that the case, you know, in this economy? Well, to be honest with you, Rad, I do a lot of fundraising, and I know one of the barriers for a lot of these people that I do work with is the financial means, right? Because the stuff that we do provide obviously has a value behind it, but I know that what we're providing is a good service, and people should be taking benefit of that. You know, they should be getting those benefits in the first place. I know the VA has tried to do something very similar, but there's such a negative connotation behind the VA, as I know that you know, Rad, and many other people know, and will say the same thing. It has gotten better. It is getting better, 100%.
Right.
But it's definitely not where it should be still, but it's definitely progressing in the right way.
And it's better than nothing, right? You go to
better than
England and there's really nothing for their services after they get out. They're just dealing with it. Yeah, I've worked with veterans on an international level, and I've been so thankful just to have a VA, to have it here, where others, they're just forced to serve. And then they're...
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't know what else to say, you know, and then they get nothing. There's nothing, and they go through all the same trauma, and they might have been attached to units that come home who have, I mean, so much trauma can be seen. These guys are SAS, you know. It's like there's charities out in England that help them. So it's cool that you've just dedicated yourself to helping, you know, your fellow veteran learn that they can go to the gym, or that they can reach out through your Boots to Health, right?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, absolutely. I mean, if anybody wants, you know, a program or anything like that for fitness-related stuff, I mean, a lot of military members like the gym. I mean, from what I've seen, obviously, duh.
We all know PT exists. Y'all go to get PT'd.
Right. I mean, the same thing. Why not do that when you get out? You know, so I'm trying to obviously make it an easy transition for a lot of people, because it just puts structure in your day, right, like you said, and just gives accountability and that discipline piece, and then you're moving and grooving, baby. What else do you want?
That's right.
Moving and grooving.
You know, and then you feel like you've accomplished so much. Like today, I've already gone to the gym.
That's what I'm talking about, right? Let's go, right?
You know what I'm saying? It's like I've already done it. I already put in time. I woke up early. I didn't want to go. I was like, do I want to go? Do I not want to go? It's like, am I sore? I'm like, oh, do I have an excuse? Right. And my excuse was like, I don't have an excuse, because I told myself I was going to do this. And so I just told myself I have to commit to doing this because I told myself I would. It's like, hello.
Yeah, but don't you feel better after you work out?
Oh, I always feel better. And you know what? Sometimes I roll in like a minute after class starts and I feel totally bad. And I feel like, you know, everyone's looking at me because they already started the warm-ups, and usually I'm in there for the warm-ups. But I remember people showing up late like I have, and I'm just happy that they showed up when I was already there, you know? It's like, oh, hey, so-and-so might be 3 or 5 minutes late to class, but they were hustling across town, trying to get here. That's the effort. And then they get into class, they just pick up for the next 49 minutes of class, 50 minutes of class. So it doesn't matter if you're a little late or you're the perfect on time, 15 minutes early, stretched out, already touching the floor with your knees and everything, whatever, perfect guy. That's great. Just show up. You got to show up.
That's the biggest thing. And then after you work out, you have to get a cup of coffee. That's tradition.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, usually me and my wife, we go space cruise for a cup of coffee, and then we have our chat, and then she's like, how was your gym? And I'm like, this is what's going on today. And then I go off to work on my war game life that I do, where I run, you know, tactical airsoft supply here in Salt Lake City, and that houses 10,000 square foot kill house that I run warfighters through, that are kids who have asthma, kids who have joined the military, adults that now military, retired military, you know, people who have never had the chance to get in, things like that. And they get to go and fight each other with airsoft training rifles, and we just make it a great time. And then we go out to the desert and do that on the weekends. So, you know.
Dude, that sounds sick. Wait, where's this at, in Utah?
Yeah, 801airsoft.com is my arena. And so if you look up 801 Airsoft, it'll just kind of like have the vibe there. And then Utah Airsoft is a good resource on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, Utah Airsoft, or any social media. And it's just war games, dude. It's like shoulder to shoulder. You get a guy like yourself, 0311, doesn't have much, you know, running around 0311 anymore, but you kind of want it because it's in you. And it's like, well, you can come fight with us shoulder to shoulder. And then you meet this kid next to you who has asthma, and he's like, hey, what'd you do? And you're like, oh, I was in the Marines. Ah, awesome. Now he gets to fight next to somebody who wore that title. or, you know, some guys are still in and they're coming out, you know. Okay, where else can you put, you know, some gangsters against police officers and put them in a meat grinder and let them shoot each other and then shake hands and do it again? Okay.
I mean, other than playing GTA, I don't think anyone.
I'm telling you, I do it all the time. They come in, they take their badges off, they put them away, they put their combat gear on, and everybody's like same team kind of attitude in the arena, right? The rules are respect, integrity, and safety. You're going to adhere to it. There's zero tolerance for derogatory comments to one another. This is a learning environment and a gym with a sporting mentality, and that is what I run here in Utah, aside from doing the podcast.
Dude,
you know?
you do the podcast and that? That's insane. You're busy.
Well, yeah, and so right now that's why we're doing such an early morning sesh, is because after we're done here, I drive 30 minutes north and I open up at noon. So boom.
What time is it for you right now?
Well, right now in Utah it's 11:10.
Okay, you're 2 hours behind me. Gotcha.
Yeah, Mountain Standard Time. Yeah, where are you at? You in Pennsylvania still?
Yeah, East Coast.
Amish country. Where are you at?
I'm out, in Mechanicsburg right now. Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania.
Mechanicsburg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's close to
cool
Harrisburg.
Name.
You been to
Harrisburg?
You close?
No, but is that Amish country?
No, Amish country, man, is like out near Lancaster with all the
Lancaster.
Lancaster.
Yeah, my friend, my friend lives here. He's from Lancaster. We always ask him about Amish country.
Yeah, you know, you got to be very careful doing business with those people, though.
Oh, well, business is business, okay? That doesn't change. Lights on, lights off. Business is business, bro, okay?
I understand. You got to be careful with those ones.
Yeah, you do, bro. Yeah, you do. It's a whole nother vibe out there. It's like, and they could dig a hole with 30 other brethren real quick.
Yeah, and you'll never be seen again, man.
No. The barn raisings are awesome, okay?
No, yeah, we love the Amish people. Great people. Love them.
Food, yeah, all their handmade crafts, everything, the butter that they churn. Yeah, dude.
The women actually do make some good desserts, though. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, yeah, and honestly, like they're so crafty and they're so workmanship. It's just like built inside of all of their DNA. It's awesome. You know, they all move the farm together.
Yeah,
in a day.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, definitely hardworking people. I gotta give that to them. Definitely hardworking.
I do. Now, let me ask you about your book. Is Sneakers to Eternity something we can go see? Is that something you want to discuss a little bit?
So obviously, Brad, that's a little bit about obviously what they're putting out. So essentially, everything I told you, Brad, they're putting together a book essentially of my life. You know, up to this point, you know, there's the big transformation of where I began and where I'm at right now. Because everybody in America loves an underdog story, right, Brad? And to be quite frank with you, I've been doing this for a couple of years, like I said, and you know, being expelled from high school and not really having any business acumen behind me. You know, it's very impressive to be where I'm at right now, to be quite frankly. I've been very blessed, and I have a good bunch of people around me that support me and believe in what I'm doing, and I'm very thankful for that. So,
well, I am happy to have had you on the show and rapped with you for like the last 45 minutes about just, you know, Boots to Health, moving that program out to our listeners so that someone can just reach out. What's the website for that?
Yeah, if anybody's interested, go to www.bootstohealthfoundation.org.
bootstohealthfoundation.org. And what we'll do is we'll put a little blurb below on sofrep.com that has that broken out with, you know, the contact info so someone can just click on it. So if you're out there listening or watching this episode and you're wanting to learn more about Boots to Health and how you can take advantage of this free program that Logan has put together, probably with a team. I'm sure it's not, is it just you or is there some, Carl's obviously around.
Well, it can't be just me, man. That'd be crazy, though, right?
Would it be though? You're just juggling it, but you know, that's how we do.
Bro. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
that'd be cool. That'd be pretty cool.
I could be a court jester. Let me just say, I juggle it all day long, bro. All day long. Oh yeah, every single day. But listen, would love to have you back on the show, you know, and we could discuss further, you know, and see how the organization's been going and doing. And, you know, you could talk about like last time we talked, there was this many enrolled. This time, you know, 7-8 months later, we've got this many people who have reached out thanks to the show, because it's just going to like, you know, hopefully get you some endowments and somebody that can help put some of that in your coffers, right? Like you are open to a deduction, or excuse me, it would be a deduction for a 501c3 if somebody wanted to donate to your program, Boots to Health, the foundation, right?
Yeah, we are a 501c3, federally registered, yes, sir.
That's right. And so, if you're out there and you're thinking, oh, I got a little bit of extraness and I want to just donate it, then you should reach out to Boots to Health at that foundation. Is it bootstohealthfoundation.org?
Yep.
bootstohealthfoundation.org. All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with me today. And Logan Spiewak, you have been pretty cool, bro. I'd love to hang out with you, and I think that you're cool like that. And I just I want you to walk around a little taller today, feeling good about yourself. And you seem like a really chill dude. And and I love how you say rad. You're like, yo, now rad. This is what's up, rad. I'm like, what's up, Philadelphia? I appreciate it, bro.
I got you, Rad.
Mike Schmidt, bro, from the Philadelphia. Okay, let's go Mike Schmidt, dude. Baseball. Let's talk old school, okay? Mike Schmidt, I have his baseball cards, one of my favorite players ever.
Wait, Rad, real quick, how old are you, though, before we hang up?
3,727. But I live in the fountain of youth, so I look this good.
Hey, man, you're blessed. Thank the Lord.
Thank you. 1977, dude.
Dude,
that's my year of the birth.
I can't do math that quick.
That's why I'm saying 47 years old. 47.
Listen, man.
That's right.
That's
what's up. Rock and roll, baby. Rock and roll, okay? It's okay. I went to an alternative high school. All 4 years of summer school.
You went to summer school?
4 years of it, yeah.
Dude, what did you do?
I had a skate shop. I had a skateboard shop when I was 13, and I was just working and had a skateboard shop and a snowboard shop with an arcade in it. And I was 15, 16, 17, and I was just like, school, work, school, work, school, work, school. I'm employing my friends. They're getting work credit going to school. We go to the same alternative school. And then the teacher shows up at my job, and he's like, you know what, Rad? I'm all, what? He's like, you're the only student I've ever had to have sign off on other students who work for them to get credit for school. I was like, I know, what a great thing we figured out, how to get credit at school for working for me. So all my homies that were skaters had a job at my shop, and they all got like 3 extra credits a year for working at my shop. So I helped them all graduate. So, skate shop, dude. So I just didn't really go to school too much, dude. I was always skateboarding, driving a Lincoln Town Car, a 76 Lincoln Town Car, by the way. It was a big fat boat. And probably, you would have hung out with me.
Dude, honestly, we probably would have smoked weed when we were younger together, probably.
I tell you what, dude, or older, because today is still, hello, what's going on? Who's around? Just kidding.
Wait, no, I didn't even say that online, did I?
Is it live? Yeah, we're still rolling, bro. I don't care. I'm cool like that, man. So, you know what? I got veteran friends who it just soothes their soul. Okay, they eat a little gummy, and away go the demons. Yeah.
In and out.
Yeah, and it's all about getting rid of those demons, bro. If you can't go outside and you can't hike a mountain or you can't snowboard or you can't go swimming in your local pool, you got to do some thrills before pills, okay? Thrills before pills. Go do something with yourself. Go to the gym. Go try boxing, because the thrill for boxing for me is like I might die.
Yo, what?
The thrill for snowboarding for me is like I might hit a tree and die. The thrill for me going to work every day is I got to drive on the freeway and I swerve in and out of vehicles and I might get hit and die. There's a lot of adrenaline that we live through in our lives.
You look like you drive an Escalade.
Oh, you got an Escalade? I don't have an Escalade. I have a...
What do you have, a truck?
I have a 93 Jeep Wrangler YJ, red.
Is it tricked out? It's tricked out then, probably.
It's got a 6-inch lift and it's got 33s on it and some tread. Just got some new shoes for it. So it's my daily commuter to work. So if you see me rolling through the Utah Valley, throw up the peace sign, no problem. I'm easy like that. That's what's up. I thought I was letting the show go, but if you've listened this long to this show, to my listener, let me tell you one more thing. There is a product that has just started coming out, and you might have heard of it. It's called the Scrubba, and it is a washing machine in a 5-ounce bag for those of you that do 0311 work with a ruck, for those of you that are out there in the stinky jungle rotted feet and you want your socks cleaned and your skivvies all clean. It can hold 2 pairs of socks and a pair of underwear inside the Scrubba, and you sit there and in 10 minutes you have washed clothes in the field. All right, so go check out Scrubba, and you might hear me do an ad on SoftRep about it because they've come on board. So Scrubba, check out Scrubba and get yourself clean, right? Get that washing machine. 5 ounces of cleanness. If you've ever been on a ruck march or climbed a mountain and were dirty, you can clean your clothes in 10 minutes. It's a washing machine in a bag, just like that.
Shout out to Scrub Daddy.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well, listen, Logan, you have been great, and it's bootstohealthfoundation.org. And if anybody has any questions, go check that URL out. And if you are going to the gym, get in there, work out, check out the book club. Big shout out to Brandon Webb, who always allows me to take the control of the mic here and host our wonderful guests. And thanks again to Carl for sending you over our way. You've been a pleasure to have on the show, Logan, and we'd love to have you back, okay?
Thank you so much, Ray. It was a pleasure, gentlemen.
All right, well, perfect. And again, this is Rad on behalf of our merch store at sofrep.com saying peace.
You've been listening to Soft Rep Radio.